So 2005 copen. As you can see, it's a little bit rusty. There, down there, split in there. But for copen, that side and back down here is relatively good, which is a bonus. But that's all good ish. We'll have to do a bit more investigation, but yeah, that's not so good. Even though it's the slightly better quarter, a little bit of rust there, nothing major. And I don't know if you can see a couple of bubbles there. It's good. That's not as bad as the other side, but what I've got to help me on the other side is, oh my bad, a brand new old stock quarter panel. So my job today is to unstitch that quarter panel and prepare it to have a new one, because it's already been repaired. I think this panel's been repaired 3 times previously. The last time was about 5 years ago. It's all very good and well repairing, but if you can replace, it's better. So this bit is held on with a screw, so up there, across there. So the only bit of join that I've got to worry about you seeing will be under this, which is good. And then all that will be puddle welded up there and puddle welded across there. That'll be fun, but thank you. Right, quarter panels had been hacked at, so let's have a look here. So obviously got to take a bit more of air off. Unpicked across there quite nicely. I'm not sure whether I'm going to take that original bit out there or use it off the new panel yet, that bit. You have to excuse me, I'm shit at recording myself, and I've got the most boring voice ever. Wheel arch, inner wheel arch doesn't look too bad. It's had a repair here and it feels more like silicone, but other than that bit there, it's not dreadful. But I've just got to tidy up this edge here, get this bit of old panel off, clean it up. I'll rust treat it tonight before I go home. I've just got to try and get the rest of the panel off all the way to the front edge. It's all loose. I hacked into it so I could see what was behind it, which down there it actually is just not a lot. Best thing they could have done to these cars, because they all rot, is treat them. It's got e-coat on and that is it. There's no wax oil, nothing. I'm very surprised there's no wax oil, because when it was repaired last time it was supposed to have undersealed and wax oiled it. Doesn't look like it to me, but hey, we'll make the best of a bad job, I suppose. Unlucky here. So we have quarter panel, so let's go down the gap on the door. So we got what, let's pull it back, focus, yeah, it's pretty nice, relatively even, closed up a little bit at the bottom, but not much. It depends on the angle, because the door's open a little bit ajar, slightly ajar, but yeah, that gap's pretty decent. Still a bit of movement here. You look at the gap around there and it seems to be quite okay-ish and wide. Bit concerning, apart from I look at this side now, and because it's got no seal on, I've got a bigger gap, small gap. So yeah, that's good. Door gap on this side is actually, if I'm going to say, a bit bigger, and it also closes up at the front. So I'm going to say the build quality on these daihatsus probably wasn't the greatest. It is a convertible, so yeah, It's not welded in, obviously. Everything seems to line up somewhere near. A little bit of a fiddle and a farce, but yeah, it should weld in. I'll try the backlights just to check, but it fits nicely in here, and actually you can almost see where it matches up to the original seam sealer. So yeah, not too bad. Day's work ish, maybe. I'm gonna tidy you up and go and get my kids from school because that's what dads have to do. But yeah, it all fits okay. I've got to do a little repair on the inner arch up the top. I'll come back and show you that in a minute. Right, so inner wheel arch, it's pretty good. This is a little bit, I'll just say, that's better, look. Yeah, that's bit gone. Solid got, there's a little tiny hole there, but that's all pretty okay until you get, so from there down needs a bit of attention. But for anyone that knows anything about copens, which I know naff all about apart from their rock boxes, it's not too bad. Should I put the light on so you can see in there? Oh, I can't use it, okay. There we go. Oh, we're on, yeah. So in there is relatively okay. It's all good. Like I said, it was welded about 5 years ago. It didn't do a bad job. We put a lot of galv into it and then a lot of fillet, and yeah, don't mind filler, but try and keep it a mil or so, not any more than that. Right, so down here you can see that I've rebuilt this bit now, so that is actually solid and it's been epoxied, so that's done. And then that bit is epoxied, so what I'm going to do next is the quarter panel's already punched, ready to go on, so I'll cover that much with panel bond on there and on the inner wing, inner quarter, and then I'll put a bead on so it's not coming off, and hopefully it won't rot for a while. It's all cleaned up, bottom everywhere's cleaned up. The inner quarter has also been epoxied again to try and prevent the rust, and then when I've finished it will be cavity waxed as well. Right, so I've cracked on quite a bit. As you can see, the quarter panel is now welded on, so if you look closely, it's a bit dusty in here, and I've put a little bit of satin black over so you can just about see where I've welded. A little bit of fluff, but yeah, I need to do, there's two more up there I've got to do. So down here it's all been puddle welded back on. I've run a little bit of seam sealer over it just because it prettifies my welds. It's welded down there. I've undersealed, well, give it a little bit of texture on the bottom just to do it, but yeah, it's been puddle welded all the way across the bottom too. So that's on. Here it's been panel bonded up to about here on the inner, let's come back. It's been panel bonded up to about here on the inside, as well as epoxied everywhere, and then it's got a little bit of seam sealer up there, and then this has all been pull welded and seam sealed back on. In there, done. Bonnet on, not bonnet on, door on, door shut is pretty decent. It's all come out quite nicely. Let me just pause. Right, so I've just dropped the battery back on, so, and then we'll shut the boot. Yeah, so gap is lovely and even all the way up, a bit of, so yeah, look at that, that's actually really spot on. That lines up lovely. So yeah, the door, everything is lovely. It's on. Down here, if you look, it's the panel is bang in line. So, and the only bit I've got to fill is that bit down there. It takes a tiny little skimmer filler just to fill this bit here, and then that's done. So it should look, that's factory. That one there is not that you can see it very well, but down there. So the ends are just filled. I mean, that's not very good. So mine's okay compared to that. I'm no expert. I just like fettling. It's okay. The gap's pretty nice. It's a little bit tighter on that side than it is on this side. There's a bit of a bigger gap, but that's tighter than it is. So yeah, right, so I've been really quite busy and not actually recorded anything because I'm really clever like that. So first of all, the join down there now looks relatively okay. It's all covered anyway, but you got to make it look somewhere near. All that's in. Yeah, door gap looks pretty sweet. Panel gap on the quarter looks pretty sweet. All around there, I've stripped, cleaned, painted, epoxy, blah blah blah. That's now been rebuilt. It's, yeah, it'll do. All up there, a little bit of work down the bottom there done, and that. It's dusty in here, and my next job is to get it painted red, and that'll be probably next weekend. Dread. Right, so it's red. It's a bit, the light's not the greatest in here, but straight out the gun, obviously it's probably still a little bit wet. Let's have a touch there. Yeah, it's soft, but what little bit of orange peel you could probably see in that. Yeah, or not. There's a little bit, I promise you. There you go, you can just see it there in that light there. Right, so for all those people that think that paint should not have any texture at all, yeah, okay, go to any car dealership and have a look at a brand new car, and they all have texture. Every car. It takes a very, very, very special painter to paint and not get any orange peel. I'm not even a painter, not even a mechanic, rightly, but I enjoy doing stuff like that. So let's see, look at the reflection of that. You can see that is pretty bob on. I enjoy doing stuff like this, so anyone that says I've done it wrong, I don't care. It's fun. That's what I want to do. So yeah, all down there. So that's where my original quarter panel, or my new quarter panel's been fitted, which you can see. So yeah, all down there. All looks good. As you can see, that's the manufacturer's join there for the sills, which is probably not as good as mine. I got big head. But yeah, all done, all painted, all looking really nice. Go around to the other side. So that bit there that was all rotted out last time is not it's not the greatest of repairs. To be honest, I've barely ground my welds, and it was made in about 5 patches to try and make it look a little bit more like that side, keep it looking right. Didn't have to be, I could have just lopped it off there, done what I wanted, but yeah, that's that. And this side again, as you can see, is painted. Reflection spot on. There's very, very, very little texture. A few bits in it. I'll stay in it, I don't care. The car probably gets washed twice a year, so it's pointless getting a show car finish on it. It's just got to look really nice, and yeah, as you can see, tiny bit of texture, but it is what it is. And like I said, paint's supposed to have texture. Cool, I'll come back when it's all demasked. There we go. So one not so rusty quarter panel, and I had something fall in the paint just before it cured, so I'll have to sort that out once it's fully cured. Nothing major. It's me, always happens, it's great. No rust there, and we'll go around to this quarter panel, and yeah, obviously it's a new quarter panel, so no rust there. So colour match, it's a bit redder, it's a little bit dark, not that noticeable, and it'll lighten up with age, I hope. I'll polish the rest of it, as you can see it, can't you? It's not quite right. It would have blended, but I've got an edge to edge. The finish is alright, as you can't really make anything out, but can't shut this door properly yet because it's still probably a little bit soft. Should have probably waited for demasking, but I'm impatient. So there we have it, one quarter panel replaced. All lines up nicely. Back bumper on, back lights in, just to see how they line up, which I knew was going to be alright anyway, but this me just to double check. crying shame about that white bit, but it'll fix easy. It's only literally sat in the very top layer of lacquer, just landed on it. So instead of trying to fiddle to take it out, I'll just flat it out, it'll come out and then just polish it up, gone. Join there. It is weird, I don't know, it's slightly, I don't know. Colour match is okay, it's not perfect. There's many shades anyway, this car is. You got the boot lid's a different colour to the door, which is a different colour to the bonnet, it's a different colour. Well, the boot lid and bonnet have never been painted, the rest has. But yeah, cool.